Well, good evening, folks. I'm Bob Strodel. I am the Executive Director of this great organization called Christian Camps and Conferences. We run Brookwoods Deer Run for girls, and then also we have a camp in Maine called Moose River Outpost. And when your kids get around 11 or so, that's the camp to check out for them. It's our outdoor adventure team camp, which is just a lot of fun and fairly new too. The purpose of the meeting tonight is not to share any earth-shattering news about camp. But it's a couple things. I want to give you a chance to meet the fellow who's in charge. So if you have any questions, a chance for you to ask. I want to tell you about what incoming day is going to be like at camp. I want to answer any questions you have about camp too. And I also want to tell you about an open house that we're scheduled to have here at Brookwoods and Deer Run. It's going to be on Saturday. Let me check my calendar here. Saturday, May 21st. And if any of you'd like to come up for the open house, it's going to start at 11, and we'll feed you lunch and give you a tour of camp, feed you lunch, and give you a chance to look around camp. So if that's interesting to you, please drop me an email or call the office. That way we want to make sure we have enough pizza or whatever it is for lunch that day for everybody. Just let us know so we can do the lunch thing for you. We are looking forward to camp. Camp starts in our staff arriving in less than 8 weeks. Which is great, and then camp starting just a little bit later than that. Some of you I know are signed up for the first session. Some of you might be signed up for sessions after that at camp. Some of the big questions that we have here at camp are, what's the impact of COVID going to be this summer at camp? Is there any impact at camp? And do my kids have to be vaccinated? And what if they're not vaccinated and stuff like that? Right now, there are no restrictions in New Hampshire. We're not requiring any tests for you to come to camp. We don't anticipate right now having to conduct any tests at camp, which is all good. We don't anticipate having your campers have to wear masks at camp. Having said all that, in return, we would just simply like to ask that if you would have your kids come to camp healthy, not be exposed to things you don't want them to be exposed to before camp, then we won't have an issue here at camp. Like any place has got some medical stuff, we will have some COVID test kits here. And if someone does get COVID, you'll get a phone call from us asking you politely to come and pick up your child the same way we would ask you to pick them up if they had chicken pox or flu or something like that. But we don't anticipate anything really weird there. Obviously, we're all waiting to hear if there's anything new coming on, but we don't anticipate anything different. So for those who've been to camp before, like Rachel, it's going to be business as normal. We hope at camp, which is good news from everybody because we enjoy doing camp without the restrictions. It's just a lot more fun. And it's a very low risk when you think about the fact we're out of doors most of the time during the day. And there's a lot of activity. And we don't have too many elderly people here around camp like me. There's not too many people my age at camp. So it's a good, young, healthy population here at camp. Our staff is coming along really well at camp. We're very excited about the staff that are coming back. I looked at some numbers today, and we have a very healthy dose of people who are coming back from last year. Excuse me. So that means as a parent, you're going to have an experienced staff with your kids this summer. Excuse me. Which is good for you. And it's good for us too, because that means our staff training is good. We're going to hear it again a second time. Our staff usually come in. They will come in, excuse me, not usually, they will come in 2 weeks ahead of everybody else. Our staff training is very extensive. I can say that not only because I have a part of that certainly, but because as part of my other job, I also tour other camps. Every summer I tour a couple camps for the American Camping Association in our accreditation program. So I have a chance to see a lot of other camps. We do that to self-police, but we also do it. I do it because I get to poach all good ideas from other camps, and I get to see what they're doing, and maybe there's something good we can take back to our camp. But I have to admit, after visiting other camps for 30 years, there's not a lot of new stuff I've seen out there, and we seem to be right on top of everything, which is really, really good and satisfying to me just running a camp. So staff are coming along really well. Enrollments, thank you for enrolling for camp. I should have started with that at the very beginning. We have a wait. Deer Run is all filled now for all the 2-week sessions. Brookwoods is filled for 3 out of the 4 2-week sessions. We only got a few spaces left in 1 2-week session. Got a few spaces in Explorer Club for the 1 weeks, not too many at either camp. Some are already filled. And Moose River Outpost has got some waiting lists too. So I know this is your first year at camp, at least for many of you. So the advice I'd like to give you is next September, when you get your cabin picture in the mail from us, don't wait. Send it right in with the application for next year so you don't wind up in the wait list. We have over 200 people on the wait list. Yeah, 200 people on the wait list. I saw that, Paul Gordon. I saw you were surprised at that one. There's 200 people on the wait list. So make sure you're sending it in. Also, kids, when you get that cabin picture, don't give your application to dad, okay? He's going to lose it. So give the application to mom. Make sure mom sends the thing in, okay? I can't tell you how many phone calls I've gotten over the years, and I'm not trying to be sexist or anything. This is just facts. Where dad calls me and says, Bob, this is March. I forgot to send my thing in for my 13-year-old daughter, and I am in the biggest doghouse of my life. You got to bail me out. And I have to say, Dad, I'm sorry, but you're number 14 on the wait list, and there's not much I can do about that. Well, can't you bump me up? My life is dependent upon this. And I said, well, no, we have a little bit of integrity with the parents. Wait list is first come, first serve. We don't play favorites. We don't, if someone's sending me chocolate chip cookies, that's very nice, but that's not going to get you a little bit higher on the wait list. Right. So I appreciate the chocolate chip cookies, gluten-free, please, but it doesn't get you any higher on the wait list. And that doesn't impact your cabin assignments either. So first time at camp, when you come here, what you'll do on incoming day is you will drive up to the camp. You'll meet somebody at the gate. They'll give you a package. In the package will be several things. It'll be just a summary of what to do during the day in case you forget in your great excitement. It will have a list of all the staff members here and a little bit of bio each one. So you can go down and see what the staff are up to here at camp, what we do in the rest of the year. Of course, your kids' counselors will be in there too. We'll have something in there called Bunk One, which enables you to communicate with your child as an electronic one-way email. That'll be in the package. We'll include a camp map too, so you don't get lost here during the day. Now, we haven't lost, there's 475 acres here. We have not lost a camper, at least since I've been here, which is 30 years. We got a few parents still walking around the grounds, but we haven't lost any campers yet. So we'll give you a map to get off. So after the gate, you'll get your map. You'll come down, you'll drop your luggage off at Deer Run or Brookwoods, depending on where your child's attending. You'll get your cabin assignment. And that's your big chance to go down to the cabin. Moms and dads, that's your one chance to make their bed. Unload their stuff. Every camper here gets a three drawer cubby. You can put their stuff in the cubbies. You put the socks, you put the underwear, you put the t-shirts on top, and then some shirts and pants and shoes at the bottom. Put them all in there nicely because there is inspection every day at camp. Are we going to check that? You get a chance to make their bed and then go up and see the nurse. And the nurse will talk to you about any medical conditions you have. Your kid has, excuse me. They'll feed your child to make sure they're warm, not too warm, but just warm enough to make sure they're alive. And if there's any medications, you can hand them to the nurse at that point or talk to the nurse about anything there specifically to health. The nurse will also do a check. And if the nurse feels that your child is not well, there will be another conversation there about maybe this is not a good time to bring your child to camp. We'll also take your temperature there. Please, with all this COVID environment that's out there, we don't know where it is. Keep your kids safe. As I told the group last week, it seems like people get COVID with their 10 o'clock in bars at night. So keep your kids out of the bars at night. They'll raise the chances of that not happening at camp. And then after you visit the nurse, that's it. That's all you have to do at camp. Time for a hug, time for a high five, time for a shoulder squeeze, or whatever you do with your kids. They can go back to the cabin with their counselor, and you guys can go back home. Or you can leave on that Aruba trip you've been planning for so many years, just the two of you. Or maybe there's some more at home you'll need to drop off at camp next year to make that happen. So that's what an incoming day is going to look like. After you leave, the kids will have dinner. They will have a session of camp rules, which is very enlightening, but very straightforward. And then after dinner, they will have signing up for activities during the week. They will sign up for 3 to 4 activities during the week, depending on their swimming skills. If they need some swimming tests, they'll be given a swimming test on Sunday afternoon after you depart. If they need swimming help, they'll be enrolled in a swimming class. If not, they can sign up for the rest of their activities. They'll do their activity for a whole week. 5 days, normal activities, 1 hour for each activity. And those are instructional activities. They're actually going to learn something at camp. It's not just throwing the soccer ball out there. We'll have a coach out there with a whistle, chasing them around and telling them how to play soccer better, or telling them how to make a model rocket, or swim better, or do a sailboat. And then after that 1 week, then they get to choose activities again for the next week. Your kids will probably get their first choice. Well, they will get their first choice of activities over the course of 2 weeks. But they're not going to get their first choice every single activity period for every single day. We do that for a reason. We want them to try other things at camp. So if any campers on this phone call think that they're going to be doing model rockets every single hour of every single day, not going to happen. First of all, it's too popular, you won't get in. But also, we got to let other kids do some of that fun stuff. So you get to try other activities at camp, which is the fun part. You get to try things. You get to learn some new skills at camp. That's how it works. And the next week, you get to try some more activities. We're still in the process of figuring out our tripping program. I don't know how many of you have recently tried to buy a vehicle. We are having trouble renting vans this summer, and we use our vans to go on some of our adventures. So that's still a little bit undefined how many vans we're going to get this summer. If we have enough vans, we'll be able to do some trips with the kids off site, some hiking trips and other things. If we can't, we're going to try to do things on campus. We have several areas on campus that have sleep outs. We also own Plum Island, which is out in the lake, which is great for a sleep out. And we can do some hikes right off on campus. So that's still a little bit undefined on there. Everybody here on this call should have received a camper handbook. If you did not receive a camper handbook in the mail, there's two things you can do. Number one, you can look online under parent resources on our website and download one there. The second thing is, if you'd like to get a paper copy, contact Corey in the office here, and she can send you a paper one if you like. The first year you come to camp, we send you a paper camper handbook. The Gordons, you got one there in front of you? Or are you just looking at a magazine? Yeah, hold it up. There we go. Parent handbook. There we go. Thank you. All right. First year you get that. Next year, no, you got to download it. So you know what the drill is next year. We're figuring you're going to learn how to do things too. So next year you can download it. In the camper handbook, there's some things to fill out. Probably the most important thing in there is your health form, which is needed by the state of New Hampshire. It's a two-part health form. The first 2 pages you guys fill out, and the second 2 pages you give to your doctor. Sometimes your doctor will fill out that form and give it back to you. Sometimes they have their own form, and you can send that in also separately. You also can fill out the parent part of the form online. So if you don't want to fill out something, or Brooke, if your handwriting is really bad, you can fill it out online and type it out. So it's a lot easier for you to do that. So just make sure you get a health form. Letters of the counselors on there. The campus can fill that out. That will give the counselor a little bit of idea of who's coming. And of course, mom and dad, on incoming day, you'll be able to talk to the counselors. And, if your child is one of those childs that has a challenge, let's say he's a sleepwalker or she is a sleepwalker, that's the chance for you to talk to your counselor, talk to the counselor, pull them aside, said, look, I need to tell you about Sally. Sally's very interesting at night. She sometimes goes for walks in her sleep. It's okay. Just help her get back to bed. Those are good pieces of information the counselor really needs to know. It just eliminates some of the guesswork here at camp. So, all right. I'm going to stop talking here because my mouth is about dry. We have a chat box here. And if you'd like to answer questions, type questions here in the chat box. I'm happy to answer the questions. And then when we're kind of done with that, we can obviously go off mute, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. If you have a personal question that you don't want answered or recorded over the chat, you're welcome to give me an email or contact Corey tomorrow. I'll give you my email. Okay, so my email's in the chat. I can't answer directly right now with the chat, but if you want to email me later, if you have a personal question or a personal concern or something, please feel free to reach out to them, but I can answer any general questions now. Don't forget the open house is the 21st of May. For some first-time campers, that's a good thing to come through. And if from first-time parents, it's good for you guys too. You get to see where the cabins are, you get to see the grounds. You get to have some camp food. Check that out too. Now, remember, when you come in May, all the toys won't be out there yet because we're still put things away from the wind and the staff won't have arrived yet. But you'll get some general idea where things are. So, Bickles, it looks like you're having a good dinner there. Yeah, thumbs up. All right. What are you eating there, Jack?
We're having a chicken pot pie that's just delicious.
Ah, okay. Good for you. That sounds.
I hope we haven't made anybody else too hungry.
You made me hungry, so it started looking really good. I got to eat before these things here. That's a good idea. So let me go through the questions here, and Yeah, this meeting is optional. You're welcome to, yeah, I'm not going to feel bad if you sign off. That's okay too. But I'm here to answer questions you have and you might learn something. So question number one is, what does a swim test look like for Explorer Club? Do they all do swimming lessons? Generally, the Explorer Club does, Rachel. They usually do the swimming test, generally because most 8-year-olds don't have their strokes in order. So they're generally enrolled for swimming class. If your child is a Mark Spitz or one of those new guys that are good swimmers, yeah, we'll get them out of swim class. But generally, the Explorers do swimming class together, which is a little bit easier. The Explorer Club, for those who are not, is the 1 week experience at camp for the young ones. It's a 1 week. You only do it once. After that, you're golden. How much do kids get to interact with other kids that are outside their age group? Elizabeth, that depends on more than you think. We've got, first of all, their activities, they're not limited to activities based on their age. For example, we don't say, here's a 10-year-old BB class. There might be multiple ages in that BB class, for example. And there's also a free time in the afternoon, about fourth period in the afternoon. There's some open time for example, for boys. I see you have a boy camper there sitting next to you, Elizabeth. Yeah, so at fourth period of the afternoon, you can hang out in Moose Hall. There's some foosball games up there, air hockey, those type of things. Or you can go down at the waterfront, and we got the blob open for you. You got kayaks, the log roll, swimming, stuff like that. And that's a little bit of hanging out down there. Happens at the waterfront. All the areas, of course, are supervised with staff, which is the whole idea. But the boys have to be in those two places. Girls, you can be in Deer Run Lodge, where there's a lodge mom there with you, or you can be down at the waterfront hanging out. So hope that takes care of your question there, Elizabeth, as far as going there. What does free period look like for Explorer Club? Explorer Club, no, their Explorer Club is not all together all the time now, Rachel. We used to schedule activities for them. This year, for the first time, they're going to pick their own activities for many of the, I think at least 2 out of the 3 activity periods. So they will pick their own activities going forward, and we'll make sure they're shepherded there. We think after running Explorer Club for 6 or 7 years, we realized that some of the kids wanted their choices. So that's fine. So they'll have some choices like that, and they will have the free period at the waterfront per se. Yeah. Wow. When do you come on May 21st, Nina? The open house starts at 11 o'clock. We start tours at 11 o'clock, and then lunch is around 12:30 that day, and that's usually about the right time to see things and check out the food here at camp. And certainly bring other family members there too. Just don't come with yourself in the camper. You can bring the other ones, especially if they're going to see camp during the summer. So that's 11 o'clock on the 21st. Is there a counselor that stays, sleeps in the cabin every night? Yes. We have assigned 2 counselors and 12 campers to a cabin. The counselors sleep in the cabin. The only time the counselor would not be in the cabin every night would be, actually, I can't think of any, unless for some reason they had a commitment, they had to be out of camp. There will always be at least 1 counselor in the cabin. But even if a counselor has a day off during the day, they have to be in the cabin at nighttime with the kids. So yes, they're with them. The counselors are usually near the doors of the cabin too, so nobody sneaks out at night. But yeah, there's always a counselor there. And of course, there's cabins all around too. All right. Brooke, you asked about homesickness. How is homesickness handled? Well, we have more problems with camper sick moms than we do with homesickness. Okay. Now, a camper sick mom, let me tell you what a camper sick mom looks like. A camper sick mom is one who constantly calls the camp to check on his or her child. Yeah, it's going to be her child because it's not going to have her child. And just kind of drives the camp staff crazy because, we can't check up on the kid all the time from the office. There's 475 acres here. But let's talk about campers. Really, homesickness is a very small issue here at camp. It really is. It's amazing that usually by Wednesday, the kids are kind of swept up in the program. They made some friends. They've enjoyed the activities and they forget about it really quick. So not a big problem. How's it handled? Generally, we just encourage the kids to get involved and they usually forget about it. If, however, Brooke, there are still some tears and some issues on Wednesday, we might give you a call and ask you for any advice or help. What we will not do, Brooke, and you have to trust us on this one, we will not put the camper on the phone with you. Because just trust us, I can guarantee you, if we put your son and daughter on the phone with you, you'll be picking him or her up in the next couple hours. Okay, because kids know how to manipulate. Kids know how to talk to, kids, well, whatever. The kids can figure it out and you're going to end up in the car picking them up. So just trust us on that one, okay? remember, okay, the camp, you're going to hear every story about camp you're going to get. Some of the stories are going to be embellished. We're not up here starving your kid or keeping them from food or beating them and stuff like that. Okay. And also at the same time, remember, we're listening from stories your kids are telling us too. So yeah, use it with, be nice there. Yeah, if there's a lot of first time kids, it's their first time away from home. We get that. And I think particularly with this COVID environment where some of the kids have really been isolated a little bit more and they haven't been out there. That's a real issue. Last year, we didn't have really many problems with homesickness. So that's good. Obviously, there's a good chance to talk to the counselor if you got some concerns. Just don't say to your child, please, I will pick you up on Thursday if you're not happy. That's not a recipe for success either. Okay. If you want to do the horsemanship program, do you also have other activities? Yes. Madison, you still have to be 10 or over to do horseback riding. But if you, that's an extra sign up at camp, and you can do other activities. We rotate the horseback riding through the day, so you can do other activities during that time. So the answer to your question is yes, horseback riding is an hour plus a day, but it's not every single hour of the day. So horseback riding, you can do other activities. And if you haven't signed up for horseback riding yet, Madison, please do so, because some sessions are filled up on that there already. We only have so many horses to go around. What is provided for children with gluten allergies? Okay, I am gluten-free myself, and I probably just violated a whole bunch of HIPAA things, but yeah, I'm gluten-free myself, so I can tell you, we make sure there's enough food at camp for gluten-free people here at camp. So we have a gluten-free room here at camp. We have a list of staff and campers who have gluten issues. Our food service director gets that, so we make sure there's something at every meal that's available. We're not going to be cooking custom meals for everybody. That's not the purpose of camp, but there's always going to be something here at camp to eat. One thing we do is we have a salad bar generally at a lunch and a dinner for the meals that are in the dining hall. There's always some protein on the salad bar, so there's always an easy way out there if something else is doesn't quite work out. If, for example, that's the night we had chicken pot pie. Usually the cook will have some other option, or the salad bar is available there too. But we take that seriously, and I like eating too, so I make sure the cook makes something I can eat too. What time is the open house in May? 1 o'clock. It starts in May on the 21st. What does devotional time look like for all the kids? Do different kids age to different things for devotions? Rachel, it's obviously the age of the kids is a little bit different, but the structure is the same on that. Every child that comes to camp will be given they'll be given two things. They'll be given a devotional book, which is graded to their age. The whitetail and the moosers and the beavers and the wapitis will get a younger book for their age. 16-year-olds will get a different book, and we have it graded pretty much throughout all the camp. The next year they get another book too. So they'll if they come to camp for 7 years, they'll have a nice little library. In the morning, they usually have about 10 minutes to read their book, the devotional book, and then they're off to breakfast. And then after breakfast, there's a Bible study time that will be led by the counselor. It's in their cabin. The kids will be sitting on their beds, small group Bible study. That'll happen for about half an hour to 45 minutes, and then they're off doing activities. The topics we have for the devotionals are all this, for the Bible studies are all throughout the same, throughout the camp. During staff training, the counselors take that material and tailor to the typical questions you might have an 8-year-old versus questions you might have a 16-year-old based on that material. So we've tried to not dumb it down for the 16-year-olds and not make it too over the head of the 8-year-olds here at camp. So and then we encourage the kids when they get home, keep having your devotions. 10 minutes a day in the morning, just read your thing. And it's just a simple reading in the day. And then for the youngest kids at camp, we will send you something called Keys for Kids. Comes out every quarter, comes in the mail. You'll have a camp wrapper on it, camp picture. And it's just a short little devotional that they can continue to read if they like. Caleb would like to know if there's a dessert, lunch, and dinner, like when his mom was there. Oh my goodness, who is this from? Oh my goodness, I gotta find your picture here. Anna. Oh, there you go, Anna. Anna Sanglis is back. All right. Wow, look at that. Well, I guess your kids turned out, I guess you turned out okay. Yeah, Anna was on staff for years and the camper long-term. It's always nice to see second generations come back. There is dessert. It depends if that's a store day or not, Anna. Okay. And we're doing store a little bit differently this year. We're having store during free time in the afternoon. So we're not going to spoil their rest time. We're not going to spoil their sleep at night. So it depends. It's not, did we really give you dessert at lunch and dinner back when you were here? Wow, amazing. Amazing. All that sugar, huh?
I
Okay.
know. Yeah. Crazy
All right.
cabins.
Yeah, well, between store during the day, in fact, actually, I should probably talk about the store because not every parent knows what I'm talking about in the store. But 3 times a week, we have a camp store, and the campers can go to the camp store and pick out 2 out of 3 items, a Coke candy bar or a slush. Slush is like a snow cone, and they can pick 2 out of 3 items. Guess what? It's already paid for. You've already paid for it in the tuition. So they don't have to do it. So Anna, if your son doesn't want to have the store, that's okay. He doesn't have to. And then we also in the store, we've got some other options like granola bars and water. If your kids are not into the sugar stuff, that's fine too. And they don't have to go to store, but they can do that in the afternoons. So between some desserts and between that, we think they get enough sugar at camp. When Deb and I got here 30 years ago, they had store every single day except for Sunday. And we thought that was nuts. I mean, most parents don't give their kids 2 candy bars a day for 6 days in a row. So we put the kibosh on that one. And after they burned us in effigy for a couple of years, they realized that probably was a good idea. And the counselors don't want everybody on sugar pits either. All right. Do campers do whittling? If they can, they bring a whittling knife. Brooke, unless you're, where's Brooke? I'm trying to find, there's Brooke Husky. I see Dad there. How old's your camper, Brooke? 1. You can unmute yourself or hold your fingers up. That works. All right.
There we go. So I'm filling in shortly, briefly. They are 11 and 9.
Yeah, I would prefer that they leave their knives at home. Thank you.
No
That
worries.
age, okay. Yeah,
No
leave them
worries.
at home so you can play with them for a while. Yeah, 15 and 16 is a different conversation, but let's not. Yeah, we like your kids just the way they are, and I know you do too. And if we can avoid a trip into Huggins Hospital to get some stitches, that would always be a good thing at camp. Camp's exciting enough while adding to the adventure here at camp. So yeah, they can leave their whittling at home. That's good. Thanks for asking. I appreciate that. Yeah, and if make sure they don't come to camp with weapons, hand grenades, atom bombs, things like that, and no electronics. Absolutely not electronics at camp. Okay, no electronics. We have postcards and stuff like that in the store that they can use to write you guys, and of course, we know they're going to write you every day, telling you guys how much fun they're having at camp, which we will encourage, but will not promise. But we'll have them right here at camp. All right, how are we doing so far? Good. All right. I see a lot of thumbs up. That's good. Okay. You guys have run out of questions. And I can't believe I've asked everything, but I know some of you might have been on the chat last month. We'll have one next month too. If you got some more questions, and of course, we'll see a lot of you at the open house when you get up here. All right. If you want to unmute yourself and ask a question, you can, or you can, or put it in the chat, and I'll hang here as long as you guys have questions.
Bob, you had mentioned something about on the 21st, it would be 11 o'clock, and then later on you said it was 1 o'clock. So
sorry, it's 11 o'clock arrival for the open house. We'll have lunch at 12:30 and then a little dessert at 1 o'clock.
okay, good, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, and we try to do the tours basically at 11 o'clock. If you're a little bit late, you might miss the tour, or you can get on a little bit later tour. But we do like to show you around. When I say open house, it's not like run around. You can, but you usually have a lot of questions. I'd like to and do that with you. Can campers play musical instruments? Ukulele? Yeah, go for it. That's fine. Probably cellos. You want to leave your cello at home. Tubas, probably want to leave that at home too. Sousaphones, yeah, leave those at home too. Ukuleles, that's fine. Just one other thing, parents, about what they bring to camp is the camp environment is a camp environment. And so please don't bring any expensive jewelry, don't bring any expensive clothing, don't bring any expensive prom dresses or things like that. Leave that type of stuff at home. The best way to dress your camper for camp is sneakers, socks, shorts, and nice fitting t-shirt. And that's pretty much the uniform during the day. That's the best thing to wear. Have a hoodie for night and some pair of jeans, but that's the best thing to wear during the day. Sometimes parents ask about shoes. I always recommend sneakers because sneakers will protect the feet. I can't tell you how many times I walk over to the medical center and the nurse is there is treating a stubbed toe or a cut on the foot or something, just because running through the woods and stuff, it's not kind for sandals and even Crocs. And if you don't have the kids don't have the right footwear, they're not allowed to play activities. You're not going to be playing soccer in Crocs or sandals or stuff like that. So sneakers are the best footwear for camp to protect them, and bring a couple to protect the feet. The Mannings asked, what is the bedtime? Let's see, the Mannings here somewhere. Bedtime. Okay, yeah. Where's your camper? Is your camper in the video? Come on, get in the video here. Oh, for you, bedtime 7 o'clock. Okay, I can tell you're gonna be a handful. So it's for you 7 o'clock. Is that all right? Just like home, huh? No, bedtime's roughly depends what time of the summer is. Bedtime's generally about 9 o'clock if we can. Some of the older kids get there in bed a little bit later. If there's light out a lot, it's hard to get everybody to sleep. But generally, the younger campers, they're pretty quiet and they get worn out during the day. So 9 o'clock is a good time for them. There might be an activity once in a while after dark, like Mission Impossible or stuff like that. But generally, we try to get to bed about 9 o'clock. Okay. All right. Mr. Manning, thanks for letting me pick on you a little bit there, but I wanted to see your face when I said 7 o'clock. That was priceless. Okay. If they don't pass the initial swimming test, will they have an opportunity to test again later? Yes. In fact, Amy, there's actually 2 swimming tests. The first swimming test is what we call kind of a boating test, or just in the water to make sure the campers are comfortable in the water. We do a lot of stuff in the water, and we want to make sure they're comfortable whether they're in a PFD or not. So that'll just be a couple laps in our swimming area. And then we're also going to give us a test for swimming to make sure the swim strokes are there adequately, Red Cross level 4 or 5. The answer to the question is yes. Short answer to the question is yes, they can redo it. But not to set anybody up for some failure there, or good or bad, but most people do pass the test. There's only a few. Now, if someone's never been in the water before, that's a different issue. So we'll give them swimming lessons. Have you girls been in the water before? Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah,
You'll
we
be
have
fine.
a pool.
A pool? Oh, you'll be fine. You guys will be great. You'll ace it. I don't know what you're worried about. So
Well,
yeah, you should be fine.
they're going to have to learn the breaststroke and the backstroke. I think those were the
Yeah, it's a
skills.
very rough backstroke, breaststroke, crawl. I mean, if they got some of those things down, they'll be fine. We do want to have some degree of refined strokes because that's a life skill. But yeah. Was there a list of what each camper should bring? Yes, Mannings, there's a list in the camper handbook. I'm not sure what page it's on. I think it's page 12. I'll look in the camper handbook for that list. If you don't have, excuse me, the parent handbook. Did you get the parent handbook? Should be in there. I think it's on page 12. If you didn't, it's on the resource page too. You can download another handbook there. Okay. And that list there is for 2 weeks of camp. If anybody here having a camper come for a month, we do laundry for the month campers, not for the 2-week campers. We do laundry for month campers. So 2-week campers, 14 pair of clean underwear, please. And you probably don't need that many shorts and t-shirts and stuff like that unless you have a big sweater. Yeah, 14 pair of clean underwear. And we'll do the best we can, particularly in the guys' cabins, to make sure they change. That doesn't always happen. We try. I had a mother call me a few years ago and said, Bob, I really appreciate you helping me with the laundry. And I said, what do you mean? She says, Sam came home with the 14 pair of clean underwear. And I said, oops, well, I know Sam. He was in the moose cabin and he had a blast at camp. She goes, oh yeah. She says, I don't question that at all. So we try to remind our counselors to get on top of things like that. The good part is most of the kids are in the water during the day, so they get somewhat clean every once in a while. The girls have got showers in their cabins and the boys that go to the shower house to get cleaned off once in a while. So that's good. All right. How are we doing so far? Is this good? Okay, cool. Are you guys getting excited about camp? Okay, good. All right. Well, you got any more questions? You guys have made me an easy night. I mean, this is like only 7:30. I can go to bed early now. This is great. We'll be on next month too, if you want to watch next month. So do wild camper shower? Oh my goodness, do we have a wild camper here somewhere? Do wild camper shower? Yes, we have showers over at the wild place. You're not wild. You are wild, aren't you, Mr. Pickle? Yeah. No, the wild campers, that's our leadership program up at Moose River Outpost. They do have showers over there. I know because I paid to put them in. So there are showers up there. Obviously, if they're in a hike, they're not going to be showering, but they will get showers. Can campers buy gear at camp? We have a camp store. Mom or dad come with your credit card incoming day, you can buy some gear. Now, what I mean by gear is uniform t-shirts and that type of stuff. We're not stocked for sleeping bags or socks or pants or stuff like that. We do have an online store called through Amerisport. They're located in Norwood, Massachusetts. If you go to the camp website, you go online store, you can actually get some camp gear sent to you or get it delivered to camp free of shipping. If you'd like, you can get that personalized, or that way you have it. We do ask that if you're going to be here at camp for 2 weeks or more, you do have a camp t-shirt. You can get that at the store when you get here, or to make sure you have the right size, you can get that online and have it shipped to you to the camp, or free shipped to you before camp. And that way you can put your camper's name in the item. Please put the name in the camper's gear when they come to camp. It's amazing how much stuff gets behind. And I'm 6'2", I weigh 200 pounds. I can't wear all the clothes your kids leave behind. And it's just amazing every year how many kids leave stuff behind with a name in it, and we can't find the kid. Last year, we had a camper here who just left the stuff all over the camp. And I don't know where this guy named LL Bean lives. I have no idea where he lives. And then we also found another guy here at camp. His name was Speedo. Left a bunch of stuff in the girls' swim area. So I just have no idea where these campers come from. Speaking of showers, should kids come with a shower caddy or something? Yeah, that's fine. Madison, the shower caddy's fine. They don't have to, but they can bring that if they want. The boys do have to walk to the shower house. Most guys are comfortable just grabbing their soap and their shampoo. That's fine. You don't have to do a whole gear, but you can if you want to, but you don't have to do a caddy. My camper would like to know what kind of food they will serve at camp. Where's Julie? Oh, there he is. Okay, I see you. We serve broccoli, asparagus, those type of things. Oh, you like that? That's good. Okay. All right, good. We hit the nail on the head. We'll occasionally throw in some pizza, some chicken fingers, some hot dogs, some hamburgers. We have breakfast cookout. We'll have eggs, we'll have bacon, we'll have pancakes, we'll have sandwiches. 17 of the meals during the week you'll eat in the dining hall. We'll have some picnics outside. You'll cook your own food with the cabin 1 night a week. We'll also have some other cookouts outside too. We have nutritious camp-friendly food. And we always have a salad bar, lunch and dinner. So there'll be some other option there if you like. So does that answer your question there, Mr. Ford? Okay, good. And I'm going to give you a special round of asparagus when you come here. Can siblings sign up to do activities at the same time? Yes. Yes, they can. It depends on their ages and what time they're signing up. They're not going to necessarily be standing next to each other when they do activity signups. So a little pre-coordination would be good, saying, hey, the first week, sign up for scuba or sign up for swimming or sign up for something. That would really help do that. But they can sign up for activities. It's just a matter of making sure they do sign up. The signups are really simple too. There's not much science to them. It's kind of like a shopping. They go upstairs to one of our large rooms in Moose Hall. We have 40 or 50 staff members out with clipboards, and the clipboards have a list of activities and how many kids they can take an activity, and you sign up and you depart the hall, and that's how it is. So it's not much magic to that. They go up by cabin. So if your siblings are different cabins, it's good if they just kind of coordinate beforehand and see if they can get a common activity. Also, you can go up there and look on the clipboard and see if your older brother or sister or younger brother or sister has signed up for the activity too, and that will give you a little heads up. Are campers required to have a negative COVID test prior to camp? Jennifer, at this time, no, we're not aware of any regulation in New Hampshire that's going to require us to do that. However, if you want to do that as a family, if you have some questions or you're not sure yourself, we're certainly appreciative if everyone tests before they come to camp. That's not a problem for us, but that's not going to be a requirement for camp per se. And hopefully that situation doesn't change for everybody. Jennifer, last year we had requirements to do that before the camp, and we had to test on first day of camp and fifth day of camp. And that was a lot. That was a lot for everybody. So hopefully we're not going to have to do that this year at camp. For activities, do boys and girls merge together or do they do things separately? This is from the Gordon family. Yes, some activities, oh, it's from her, huh? Yeah. Some activities are co-ed and some are not co-ed. So it depends on the activities. So it really it just depends on the activity. Some activities are separate for a reason. Some activities are not separate for a reason. So it depends on the activities. It also depends where the activities are located. For example, we have a girls' archery range and a boys' archery range. So that one wouldn't be co-ed. We share a common rifle range. That's fine. We have two different classes for rocketeering, boys and girls. Frisbee is together, volleyball's together. So it really kind of depends on the activity. So I'm looking at you, Miss Gordon here. So do you like boys yet? No, you don't like boys? All right, then you don't have to worry about it. There's enough activities, you don't have to meet the boys, and that's fine, okay? Yeah.
I was just wondering for sports.
Oh, for sports, it depends on the activity, honestly, it really does. Yeah, we don't do sports here in a competitive fashion. So you're not going to be competing against a 16-year-old male, let's put it that way. But it's something that you're going to learn how to do and work at a skill. So, yeah. Do you recommend packing in a trunk? No, Melanie, we don't. What we recommend at camp is probably just a hockey bag. When I went to camp, which was a long time ago, we used to ship stuff Pony Express. But I recommend just to get a hockey bag with a big zipper on the top. And that way you can easily take stuff out. Belongings are organized at camp on a 3-shelf cubby. Everyone gets a 3-shelf cubby to use. And anything else you can leave in the bag, in the hockey bag, and pull out as you need and slide the bag underneath the bunk at camp. Now, remember though, there's inspection every single day at camp. So everybody gets inspected. So your bed's got to be made. Your cubby's got to be cleaned up. The floor's got to be swept in your cabin. The sink's got to be clean. The toilet's got to be clean. Things got to be in the clothesline outside. Okay, because every day there's inspection at camp with the exception of maybe one other day during the week. And they'll grade everybody too on inspection. So it's very important that you clean everything. Now, mom and dad, if this hasn't been going on at home, when your kids come home, I can assure you they'll have new skills that you can implement when you get home. So you can look at them and said, I see your room's dirty. This was not acceptable at Brookwoods and Deer Run. This is not acceptable in this house anymore. So they will have new skills. You might have to provide them maybe an ice cream every little once in a while too, but that's okay. That's how we do it at camp. That seems to work. And the inspection is a fun event for those who've been at camp before. It's a fun group effort at camp and everybody pitches in. Okay, good. I see some smiling faces. I see some parent handbooks out there, which is good. Can you bring your own sports equipment for the sports such as sticks? I don't know what sport uses sticks. So you have to tell me, Paul, what sport uses sticks.
I meant a hockey stick.
We don't, no, leave your hockey. We don't do hockey here. So
I thought you guys did street hockey.
Well, we do street hockey some, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant.
Street hockey stick. Yeah, we do street hockey. We have sticks here, so I would just leave it home. I mean, unless you're a real professional at this and you really prefer your stick. Most of the times we have our own equipment here, like bikes and all the sporting goods, and we won't want you to leave it. One thing that people do tend to bring probably more often than not is a fishing pole if they want to fish on their own. We do have fishing classes. We have poles available for fishing classes. If you have a favorite fishing pole, you can bring that and store it here at camp. And we'll provide helmets and stuff like that. If you're in horseback riding, again, bring your helmet for that. I will supply the horses, but you have everything else you have to bring. Okay. And boy, we're happy to have horseback riding because the year we had COVID, we had a tough time with the horses because we had to sanitize everything between kids using it. And boy, have you ever tried to pick up a horse and dip it in the sanitization? That was really hard. So it's a lot easier now. You don't have to sanitize all the horses. Okay. All right. Holly family, you guys doing all right? All right. I see dad's kind of leaning into the screen here and mom's kind of sit back, relax. That's a good pose. That's good. We want you to be comfortable. And that's why we have these meetings here. There's nothing earth shattering about this. We just want you to be comfortable having at camp because we're going to have fun with your kids and we want you to have fun at home and just relax and have a good time or go to Aruba and stuff like that. All right. Jack Bickle, we doing all right? Okay, good, great.
Which Jack Bickle were you talking to, Bob?
I was the one that just answered me. Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah. Obviously, in your family, there's a lack of creativity coming up with another name. So,
There's some truth in that. Yeah.
there's a lot of honor there, named after Grandpa. So that's good. It's good to see you, Jack. Both of you. Okay. if there's any more questions, sound out, or you guys can go home tonight. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate you coming here. You got my emails at the top of the chat box. I'll type it out here again. And you always email me if you got personal questions. Okay. And hope the kids are pumped. We'll see you guys in a few weeks here at camp. Okay. All right. Good night.
A lot. Cheers.
Bye.